my dad started a new family without me, but I realized my stepdad was more of a father. When I was younger, I had a very good relationship with my dad. My parents divorced when I was an infant, but I spent weekdays with my mom and weekends with my dad. My dad and I were like best friends, and we had a simple routine every weekend where we'd get 5 Redbox movies to finish during the weekend. We'd go fishing, we'd play soccer, and we'd bike to this little secret playground near the zoo. By the way,
how old is this? Redbox?
It's got to be at least like early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Do they still have
John
Redboxes?
Times.
No.
John Times.
This comes from BestofRedditorUpdates subreddit. Something else I was used to was my dad always having new girlfriends that never lasted more than 2 weeks. The only one who lasted longer, a woman I really liked who lasted 2 years, left my dad when I was 10. But my relationship with the same as ever until I was 12 and my dad met his now wife. The woman has 2 kids, one older and one younger than me. They moved into my dad's apartment after only 2 weeks. Wow. My room was already small, but my tiny mattress and 3 small plastic drawers were shoved into the corner of the room to make space for the daughter's bunk bed and dresser. Before I knew it, they started putting my bed in a closet until I came to visit and often would forget to take it out at all.
Why is all the stories we read, it's like, yeah, everyone's a Harry Potter kid.
Yeah, what's going on with your parents? When my dad moved into a bigger house, the older sister got her own room while I had to share one with the younger sister every weekend. The 3 small drawers I had were soon just 1 drawer because the little sister wanted the other 2 for her toys. Slowly,
I want my second bedroom.
I need both of my bedrooms.
But last year I had 37.
Yeah. Slowly, I started visiting my dad less and less. Then everything went especially wrong when my dad got his girlfriend pregnant after 1 year.
Ooh.
Seems like that whole relationship was moving very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
They got married, and I didn't know that for a whole month because he didn't tell me.
No one told?
No one told you? You weren't at the wedding? I also didn't know my baby half-sister was born until weeks after she came home from the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
Seems like he's just moved on to this new family.
Yeah.
Well, you get one practice family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
To make his new family happy, he started spoiling them and stopped paying child support for me and my mom. You can't. Is that legal? Doesn't seem legal.
You can't stop.
You can't stop.
I don't think you can stop.
You can stop at 18.
Well, I hope he
Yeah,
is
you can stop
18.
at 18, but
His wife is a jobless gold digger who only cooks and cleans and shops. Her older daughter is having her college paid for by my dad, and the younger daughter is the definition of a 10-year-old Sephora kid. As for my half-sister, she is still a toddler, but is clearly spoiled and hates the word no. To be fair, all toddlers hate the word no. The routine I used to have with my dad is
What's
now
a Sephora
dead.
kid?
So there's this thing where a lot of like middle schoolers are just running rampant in Sephora and messing up all the makeup and getting all the new, they need all the new Sephora drops.
Are there new drops?
I don't know. They just need all the new Sephora stuff and they go in.
Why do you need new stuff? Doesn't your face stay the same?
I don't know.
It's like Prime. It's like 10-year-olds with Prime.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what there's new looks coming out all the time.
Yeah, they want to buy all this expensive makeup and they're like, Mommy, I need makeup.
Huh.
They're like 10.
How much is makeup these days?
Makeup is expensive. I mean, people who are like into makeup, you get eyeshadow, which is like $30 if it's a cheaper, small palette. And then you're buying like foundation and concealer and mascara.
And then you got to get your face wash stuff for like when you go to sleep.
And your
How
face
long
care
does that
stuff
last,
is
though?
like, I don't know, a couple months. Makeup lasts longer, but like face care stuff doesn't.
But then you get bored of it and you're like, oh, I need a new one. I need a new eyeliner. I need a new eyeshadow.
Yeah.
And it never stops.
Never ends. It's a never-ending cycle. As for my stepdad, he's been with my mom since I was 5. Apparently, though I don't remember it, I once called him dad, and because of that, my dad told me I shouldn't love that man like a dad because... What? What's going on?
Because you're pressing the wrong button.
I'm pressing the same button. Oh. Okay, you should have specified. I'm not pressing the wrong button. I'm just pressing the wrong side of the button.
It's a phone.
I don't use phones. And because of that, my dad told me I shouldn't love that man like a dad because he's not really my father. Apparently, that's why I started acting like I hated my stepdad. I never knew why I felt that way about him since he's never been anything but good to me. And in the last few years, I have felt much closer to him. He feels like the dad that my birth father should try to be.
Okay, so you have like a real dad
so
now.
You got your stepdad.
You got your stepdad.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes your real dad is just a stepping
Sometimes
stone, to your stepdad. That's way better.
Sometimes the real dad are the friends that you made along the way.
Yeah. The real dad is the dads you made along the way.
Over time, my dad had started to treat me differently. He rants to me about his political beliefs and conspiracy theories about aliens and stuff.
Dude, sounds lit.
He also brags about his new business and his new family, and if I ever try to share anything with him, he gets annoyed and shuts me up by continuing with his stories. It's like now he sees me as a buddy rather than his freaking daughter. Also, it was during these last few years that I learned the reason he and my mom divorced was not because they weren't right for each other, but rather because my father cheated on my mom while visiting his family
called it.
in Canada. Damn.
His girlfriend's in Canada?
No. The mom was visiting her family in Canada. I am now 15 and I have become a completely different person than the one my birth dad remembers. I no longer love the beach or soccer. I now love music and reading and writing.
I'm so mature.
I have written and published 2 books since
I'm
2022.
very mature.
And I'm writing the 3rd in my series. Damn.
What if it's like Diary of a Wimpy Kid? She's like one of the writers.
Dude, Diary of a Wimpy Kid is slap.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. I love Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Diary by Wimpy Kid was like one of my favorite books.
I loved that series.
It shows.
Yeah. My stepdad supports my dreams and loves me so much that he brags about me to friends and family and calls me his daughter. My stepdad has an actual daughter who I love like a real sister, though she lives up north with her boyfriend and I don't see her often. Still though, I love them more than I loved my birth dad and half-sister who I'm actually related to. My dad blames me for never calling, though because of how he's treated me lately, I don't feel like I owe it to him. I also go months at a time without visiting him now because I no longer feel comfortable at that house, especially since the bed I sleep on over there is literally considered their guest bed. They don't see his family, and it's not cool.
Wait, but like if she doesn't live there and...
Well, she doesn't live there full time because she goes back and forth with her, and they've never really given her a room. In my birth dad's house, I am a guest. Because of all of this, I resent my dad. I haven't told anyone about this, so no one is calling me a jerk. But I'm wondering if I am because my dad is in love with his new family, and I'm wondering if it's bad that I'm not happy for him. Am I the jerk?
Sometimes you got to let go of your dad so he can move on,
Yeah. If you love something, let it go, and if it's meant to be, it'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sometimes you find new dads.
Sometimes you find new dads. It's like you're never going to get it right on the first relationship.
Exactly.
You're learning. You don't really know what you're doing, but by the second time you're a dad, you're like, okay, like I know how to love, this family.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you need
to not be
too.
toxic. Yeah, it just takes some time.
Yeah.
It takes some time. So
to
like
be a dad.
1, 2, 3 practice families. By the 4th,
you bet. By the 4th, no leniency. You got to be a good dad.
No, you got to be a
good.
good dad by then. Yeah.
But there are some comments. Just another Sadie says, not the jerk. Your dad failed you. He's the only reason why you don't have a relationship with him. Glad your stepdad is good to you. Hope you're calling him dad now.
Whoa, now. A relationship goes 2 ways. You said your dad failed you, and I said, whoa, now. A relationship goes 2 ways.
Yeah, you failed your dad. The Balaram says, absolutely not the jerk. Your father failed on his only task of being exactly that, a father. So you are in your right to cut any connection you want with him. Update! There is an update, though. But I think... What?
Just how you said that.
Update!
Like you were surprised.
I was.
I mean, I'm... Like I guess what the core thing is that she now has a better dad.
Yeah.
But like what what's the
problem?
What's the problem here?
you got a better dad.
She was abandoned.
Her other dad sucks.
Your other dad
and you're
sucks,
feeling guilty for being mad at your other dad. It's okay. He left you. He wasn't a father to you. You don't owe him anything. Move on. Find a new dad.
It's like, just because
your stepdad's a rebound doesn't mean that
just because
he's not still your dad.
Rebound dad. I think your real dad may have left you, but that is not a reflection on who you are as a person. It's not a reflection of you not being able to find another dad that's going to be able to like you more. And who knows, maybe that new dad will have just left another family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yes.
And then you could come together and really enjoy
your
and
time
really
together.
enjoy like rebounding off each other's broken families.
Yes.
Father, daughter.
And as I think this is a great quote that I heard recently, but like 2 rebounds cancel each other out.
That's what I've heard. But there's an update. Hello. There's an update. Oh, we got a doggy. Oh, she doesn't want to be there. She's immediately trying to run away. Oh, it's so cute. So I made a post a few months ago talking about how my dad has basically stopped treating me like his daughter now that he has a new family. Not much has happened since, but here's an update anyway.
Woo!
Since I made the initial post, I've only visited my dad's house once, and safe to say, I truly am nothing more than an uncomfortable guest in the house. I should start off by saying that every time I spend a few months without going to his house, my dad tries to play all innocent and calls me on Fridays to ask where he should pick me up. I never answer because he always calls me when I'm in class or busy with studying, so he'll call my mom. But because he never asks me in advance, I tend to have plans on weekends with my cousins, friends, or just to work on writing since I'm still working on my 3rd book. And it takes a lot of focus that I can't get in his house. Oh, like she can't focus in his house.
Okay, so she's splitting her time between her stepdad, that's great, and her real dad, that
who's
sucks.
Not great, and who's
she
expecting
feels,
her to drop everything to go hang out with him.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't want to talk about you. I want to talk about me.
He's like, let me tell you about the aliens. They're coming down. They're taking your jobs.
They're taking your jobs.
That's why you don't have a dad anymore, because I've been replaced by an alien.
But that alien's doing a great job.
He's doing a really good job. Actually, I'm now just going to call him Eric. Whoa.
Eric.
He's not your dad anymore. He's Eric.
He's a DJ.
He's honestly not been as much of a dad figure to my stepdad, to me, as my stepdad has. Anyway, it was my mom who decided I would go over to his house, despite the fact that Eric hasn't paid child support in over 2 years now, and I hate going to his house. My mom says I should just visit from time to time to keep him from getting the court involved. That's a great reason to go visit your
Well, he
dad.
stopped paying, so you should stop going.
Yeah. You should get the court involved because he's not paying.
Get that bag.
It's illegal for him not to pay.
That's what I'm saying. It's illegal. It's illegal.
So you should 100% get the court involved.
She confuses me, sometimes saying that he's a deadbeat man, but also sometimes saying that he's my loving dad who deserves my respect.
I mean, she probably thinks both of them at different times. Like you can hold that cognitive dissonance.
You can have both.
You can hold both.
However, under the circumstances, I'm fairly certain that nothing would be any different since I never visit him and he doesn't pay child support anyway. In fact, once on Christmas, he bought a bunch of new gifts for his family and wrapped them up and everything. But weeks before Christmas, when I was visiting, he drove to Walmart so his wife could do groceries, and he handed me $200 and said, Merry Christmas, buy yourself something, and then the rest can be child support or whatever.
I don't think that's how it works.
Isn't
child support like a couple
More?
$100 at least a month?
Yeah. I bought 2 books, but the rest of the money that was supposedly child support was nothing near the amount he owed.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I have told my mom I would be happier if he lost custody of me and my stepdad adopted me, but she thinks that's too extreme and says he's still your dad. He deserves your respect and love. No, he doesn't. He's got to earn that respect and love.
Yeah.
He doesn't just get to have it.
Just because you're blood does not mean you have to deal with the mud.
So true. Now, about the weekend, I visited him. From the minute Eric picked me up, all he talked about was his new family. He talked about the older sister and her boyfriend, the younger sister and the shopping she does, and my half-sister who can now talk a little bit. I stayed silent the whole ride until he asked me a question about my school. And when I answered his question, he got frustrated and went into a conspiracy theory rant.
Wait, why did that launch him
was
into
that?
a rant?
Yeah. Opie was like, yeah, I've been going to school. I've been liking my history classes.
History,
like, that's a lie.
That's fake history. You know what they used in World War I?
Cats. Or spies.
they put bombs on carrier pigeons. And
that was the Cold War.
That actually was. They put bombs on carrier pigeons in World War I too.
But being around conspiracy theorists, it doesn't take much to tip them over into a little rant.
Yeah, they always want to be there.
Yeah.
I tuned him out for the rest of the drive after that. The rest of the weekend wasn't any better. The older sister did what she always does when I visit and locked herself in her room, only coming out when I left the house or when I was in the bathroom so she wouldn't have to talk to me. And the younger sister had a friend of hers over, and her friend had her stuff tossed on my bed and was sitting on it because it's the bed she sleeps in when she has sleepovers. You don't all sleep in the same room when you have a sleepover? She has to sleep in the guest room?
That's so not fun with a sleepover.
That's like a boring sleepover.
I feel like it's like putting one person in prison.
Yeah. I'd be like, why are you even sleeping over at that point?
And then you're also like hearing all the fun they're having in the other room, and you're just like trying to sleep and you can't.
Eric's wife did a poor job of hiding how bothered she was by me visiting. More than once, she has been completely shocked I was visiting because Eric didn't tell her, so she couldn't disagree. Why? So he's not telling anyone that he wants OP around? Like, because OP was saying she didn't get a lot of forewarning.
Makes sense whenever he has a whole nother family. He has to, like, one day you'll have enough energy to be a family for two families.
It's a lot of work to just be a dad to one family.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to be a dad for two families.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole idea where it's like, you know, if you split your focus too much, you're not going to do anything right.
Exactly.
And if you just focus in on the one thing,
it's like if you split your soul into seven Horcruxes, then you're really not even a person anymore, and you have to drink unicorn blood to survive.
And no one wants to do that.
No one wants to do that.
Well, one person wants to do that.
And also, most of the weekend consisted of Eric taking me and my half-sister to a playground so she could run around with her friends. And I sat on a bench to read, but I didn't have much time to myself since Eric kept leaving and told me to keep an eye on my half-sister, who is a wild and fussy kid. I'm not a babysitter. And while I'm good with kids, that doesn't mean I enjoy putting my own time aside to look after them when they're not my responsibility. I had to spend 2 days in either pure chaos or discomfort, and I had a talk with my mom about me not wanting to go over there anymore. She said that's fine and she won't force me to go anymore, but since she said that before, I don't believe her. I don't have anyone to really talk to about this, and this whole situation is stressing me out because I don't remember my dad ever being as happy as he is now, and I still sometimes feel like I should be happy for him. I don't know what to do, and any advice on anything I could do would be helpful. Everyone who's commented on my last post so far has said I'm not the jerk and that Eric isn't acting the way a dad should, but he still reaches out from time to time and says I'm his baby girl who he loves. Honestly, I almost cry when he says that because it reminds me of how we used to be. Am I overthinking all this or overreacting? What should I do? Am I the jerk here because I'm not happy for my dad? And there are some comments.
No, you're not the jerk.
And an update.
I feel like he's acting so inconsistent that it's like causing you more hurt. You know, like there's that whole thing in like relationships that it's actually not the person that's like a constant that is the cruelest person. It's the person that is like hot and cold.
Yes.
Like that is more cruel than being consistently cruel.
Well, yeah, because you know what it feels like to, you know, have a good relationship with them.
And it feels like this back and forth of like I want you and then I don't is putting OP on this emotional roller coaster that is not going to benefit her sanity and like her emotional well-being. And so at a certain point you have to say like, okay, I've been continuously hurt by this person.
Yeah.
Do I want to subject myself to this kind of behavior and this treatment again? Or is it more healthy to remove myself and just stay with my stepdad? And it feels like it's getting to the point
healthy to remove,
where it's like time to just remove yourself a little bit.
I think so.
I would love to know what y'all think though.
Yeah. Put your thoughts in the comments.
Here we go. This is a good one.
Kimberly Fine says, Mom is an enabler. Either she's trying to make up for her own guilt for choosing that dude as her kid's bio parent, like she's at fault for OP's treatment, or she's also toxic and treats bio dad as a sitter. Yeah, hopefully not this. I don't know. She is. I don't know. I think she just has this idea that OP should have a relationship with her dad.
And I think that's just coming from a place of like what the norm is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like he really wants to have that. So
Riley, can I put my camera down a little bit? I'm feeling like a cozy mood.
He's feeling a little cozy. But there are some comments. Catch Hefty 5872 says,
we'll get back to the story, but John, I had a crazy basketball game last night.
What happened?
So I was playing and the other team was very aggressive. I got an offensive foul, which like that is crazy to get. And like I kind of tweaked my ankle.
Ooh.
But this other guy, our center, our like our star player,
Yeah.
went in for a layup, and this dude just like smacked him in the head. And he had to walk off for a second. Ref didn't say anything, and he got a technical foul because he was going off at the ref.
Even though he got hit in the head?
He got hit in the head.
That doesn't make any sense.
He had to sit down for a little bit, and he was like, dude, I don't even know what to do. I'm new here. I've never been to like a doctor. Like, what do I do? I was like, bro, good for you. I know exactly where you need to go.
Riley, where is that to save your team? Where are you going to point them, Riley?
ZocDoc.
That's right. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you and instantly book appointments with them online. And these doctors all have verified reviews from real patients just like you guys. We're talking about booking appointments with tens of thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed, credible doctors and specialists. And you can filter the ones that take your insurance. We're looking out for your pockets, ladies and gentlemen. And they treat basically any condition you're looking for. The typical wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between just 24 and 72 hours, and sometimes even the same day. I use ZocDoc. We use ZocDoc. Guys, you should use ZocDoc too. Go to ZocDoc.com/OKOP and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/OKOP, ZocDoc.com/OKOP. Let's get back to the story.
You should tell your mom the more she forces you to go to your dad's, the more it's going to ruin your relationship with her, as she's not listening to what you want and how you feel. You should also tell her you no longer trust what she says, as she has told you before that she will no longer force you into going, but she does it anyway. If you can't talk to your mom, have a one-on-one chat with your stepdad and see if he can help when it comes to your mom. And there is another update, so let's get into it.
Let's hit it.
Hello, everyone. It's only been a couple of days since my last post. Since then, I have taken the advice most of you have given me, and I talked to my mom about how I don't want to keep being forced by her to visit Eric, my donor, as most of you refer to him as. Long story short, I'm not 100% sure she won't continue to send me over to Eric's house, but she did wind up sending him long texts, chewing him out for not treating me right, and telling him to step up and pay his child support. That's what we like to see.
Wow.
About darn time.
Come on. He didn't answer her, though, so I followed some other advice and wrote him a long text myself that detailed how I felt about his treatment of me the last few years. The thing is, as soon as I sent the text, he called me to yell at me and called me spoiled and overdramatic. He said it's my fault we don't have a relationship since I never visit or talk to him anymore, and because I mentioned the unpaid child support, he said that I was only reaching out to him for money. This guy sucks. I nearly cried during that phone call and wound up just hanging up on him. He sent some angry texts to my mother as well, but later that day, he left a voicemail on my phone saying, money is kinda tight for me right now. I'm completely broke. You know I love you, right?
I hope my love can make up for the money I lack.
He's like, I'm kind of tight on love right now, so I can't give you that much either.
Well, maybe you should put some time in and get another job to pay for me.
Maybe you should stop, I don't know, being the worst. The thing is that I know that's a lie because I'm always seeing my younger stepsister make TikTok videos showing off the Sephora and other expensive crap he buys her all the time. He just doesn't have enough money to give to you because he doesn't want to give you money. He's like, oh, I want to pamper all of my other kids, and he doesn't see you as like one of his children anymore.
Yeah, you're a part-time child.
Part-time child.
Which means you get part-time benefits.
Yeah, you get minimum
You get love
wage.
or money, not
You
both.
get minimum wage love, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think I'm done trying. And some of you suggested asking my stepdad for help. I wish I could, but when I asked my mom again if he could adopt me, she said something that absolutely crushed me. Apparently, my stepdad himself said he doesn't feel like he should adopt me. My stepdad is a very kind and sympathetic man, but he's also extremely unconfrontational and thinks it would be like a slap in the face to Eric if he adopted me. Also, because I noticed some confusion about this in the comments on my last update, the reason my parents divorced was because he cheated, but it wasn't with his current wife. My parents split up when I was still basically an infant, and Eric lived in Canada where he jumped from girlfriend to girlfriend there before he moved down here and continued to jump from girlfriend to girlfriend. When I was 12, he met and knocked up his wife, Alejandra, and married her without telling me till a month after their courthouse wedding.
Whoa.
Also, some of you asked how old I am. I'm 15.
Oh my gosh.
This is so hard.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this is real bummer. It feels so ridiculous that I have this stress on me at my age, and I really can't talk to anyone about it. I can't talk to my stepdad because he's always working, and I'm only ever with him when my mom is there too, and I don't like talking to her because she's always telling me that I'm too young to really feel how I feel.
Oh.
You're not too young. You know your emotions.
You're not too young to feel those feelings, you know?
And I mean, even if your feelings were more exaggerated because of your youth, that doesn't make them any less I'm valid. This really sucks. No one's there for
Sounds
OP.
like no one really understands OP.
Yeah.
No one understands
No one understands me.
I just
I'm
want
all
Sephora
alone.
makeup. Is that too hard to ask for?
God. The last time I tried to discuss my mental health with my mom, I asked her if I could start going to therapy. And she said that therapists are dumb and that I can just talk to her or pray to God if anything is wrong.
Oh my God.
Or watch Storytime.
Yeah, it's free.
Free therapy.
Damn. And the thing is that OP does talk to her and she's like, no, it's fine. Just go see your dad. Sucks.
Yeah, I feel like OP must feel really alone.
Really isolated in that. I'm not super religious, and talking to her about anything serious makes me deeply uncomfortable. It's not that I don't love her, since she's my mom after all, but she's pretty intense and intimidating. My dad has not reached out to me again since his voicemail. Frankly, I don't want to even think about him for a long while now. If he suddenly realizes how badly he screwed up with me and apologizes, then maybe I'll try to rebuild our relationship. As for my stepdad, he may not want to adopt me, but he still calls me his daughter. Never just his stepdaughter. And I truly feel loved by him. I love his parents like they're my own grandparents, and his whole family is so warm and loving. I might make another update if anything else happens, but for now, I'm just going to focus on school and my books. Maybe now that I understand that Eric really doesn't care that much about me anymore, I can finally focus on finishing my 3rd book. Just write about him in your book.
Wait, I thought she was 22 and she had like 2 books.
No,
or
she's
was
15.
this when she was 15?
No,
So
she
she's
is
written
15.
2 books at 15?
Yeah.
What?
And he can't even get her like some child support. Come on.
Wild, dude. Shout out her. She's kind of
Yeah,
crushing it.
you're killing the game. Just write about your experiences in your books. That's therapy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, she is
Journaling.
writing this experience
In the Reddit.
in Reddit, and like it's kind of novel worthy.
Mm-hmm. I dedicated my first book to him, and I honestly don't regret it. I dedicated that book to the dad he used to be. It's not like he'll ever read that book since he doesn't think it's smart that I want to be a writer, but I don't care. But she's already published them. Come on.
Yeah, come on, give her some support. Give her like a little bit of support. That's crazy that you're not supporting your daughter,
Who's like a
who's
published
a
author.
published author. 2 books.
2 books.
Working on her 3rd.
Working on her 3rd.
And she's not even out of college, dude, or high school.
Thank you to everyone who gave me advice and told me I wasn't the jerk. I feel so much better with those reassurances. Thank you. And there are some comments and
Yeah, you got an update.
and another update.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
You're all-
smart. I would say this is pretty smart. You're going to Reddit to get other people's advice, even though you can't go to therapy. It's
Yeah, I
the
mean,
closest thing
go to the free advice place. You know,
Yeah.
Go to the free advice place, and all the people in the comments can give you free therapy.
free therapy that is always very tempered.
Always
and
so
irrational.
Yep.
nice and sweet
Yep.
and
And
helpful.
helpful, really.
Always, every
Even the
time.
bad ones.
Even the bad ones. But there are some comments. A Tiny Dancer says, I'd reply that maybe he'd stop being broke if he wasn't spoiling his new family and ignoring his obligations to his actual daughter. And tell him that honestly, he hasn't acted like your dad in years, so let's just stop pretending. And he could be happy with his replacements because you're done being ignored and walking on by someone who obviously doesn't want me there. Push me away, Tiny Dancer. Jez Lander says, you say your father sent you a text saying, you know I love you, don't you? You should respond, no, I don't know this at all. I know you say you do, but you have never shown me this love. Love isn't just a word you can throw at me as you throw a bone to a dog.
Yeah.
Love is a feeling
Dang.
of support and safety. It's a deep felt knowledge of total acceptance. It's the tissue when I cry, the back rub when I'm sad or hurt. It's that wink at a shared joke and the hug of joy and glorious celebration. That, daddy dear, is love. That is
Wow,
what I
that is
both
poetic.
expect and need from you. As things stand, you're a horrible disappointment and a terrible father.
Oh my gosh.
But there's an update.
Wow.
That was
Damn.
Also, just got eviscerated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Eviscerated. That was
These
crazy.
comments were like, here, this is exactly what you should say, word for word, and it'll work.
And it did.
Well, we don't know. They haven't used that. Wasn't OP saying that.
Well, it did for me.
It worked here.
It worked
For
for me.
me.
I was like,
It's been tested.
I was riveted and
Yeah.
raveted.
This is
and
this is
ravished.
peer reviewed. You can
Peer
you can take it
reviewed
into
by,
the
by
action.
us. We are the
Yeah,
peers.
Exactly.
But I feel like OP has been fairly straightforward
I think so.
with the dad. Like, it's like, how many opportunities can you give real dad before you just have to say, like, I'm cutting you off?
I think
I feel
OP
like we're
is
at the
very
cutting off
yeah.
phase.
I think
you know?
so.
I don't know if we need more
I think he's made
communication.
no effort, and it shouldn't be on her to constantly have to kind of whip him back into dad shape.
Yeah.
He should want to do that himself.
And take him to court.
Bod into a rad bod.
Mm-hmm. You shouldn't have to beg for love. It should be given willingly. But there is an update.
Let's hit it.
Hi, everyone. It's been about 9 days since my last update. I just want to say thank you all for your support and advice. There were a lot of people asking similar questions, and it was all a bit overwhelming. So I didn't respond to any of them directly, but I will answer those questions here before I get on to the actual reason for this update. So a lot of you were saying that I should talk to a school counselor or something, which actually I was kind of thinking, I was like, maybe you can talk to a teacher.
Yeah, I saw that in one of the comments.
Yeah.
It said like, oh yeah, maybe you can talk to a school counselor.
That is what I was going to say.
A good free option for what you are trying to do here.
Yeah, and maybe not necessarily, like they probably don't have all of the
resources or the equipment, but it's a good starting point.
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, the same as Reddit,
to.
right? It's like Reddit is not the end all be all.
Yeah.
It is the starting point for helping yourself.
Exactly. And sometimes you don't even need a person to give you advice. You just need to rant.
Get it out.
That's true.
The thing is that I do virtual homeschool. Oh, no. So she's so isolated. And my mom works from home a lot, so I'm honestly just a bit scared to try that. Plus, even if I did talk to my counselor without my mom being around to hear, I really don't trust any adults to keep these kinds of things to themselves. I know that sounds a bit dumb and paranoid, but it's really just how my brain thinks. A lot of you also said that I should bring up the therapy thing with my mom again, but I know for a fact that won't work. My mom really doesn't believe in therapy and believes that praying to God or having her preach about the Bible to me will solve everything. As for my stepdad, I love the guy like a real father, and I see him as my true dad, even if he doesn't want to adopt me. But he really is no help with the therapy issue either, because he always just agrees with whatever my mom says to avoid arguments.
And I also understand the stepdad not wanting to adopt because it could be that if he did adopt, the real dad would cause a whole ruckus, and it would actually be more pain for OP than if he didn't adopt.
No, I think there's a lot of things that would potentially go wrong in that situation, but
it's understandable.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
But I am doing fine right now, though. And I honestly think things are going to start getting better. And I think this is because I'm pretty sure my mom is finally going to file for sole custody and court-ordered child support. There we go.
Wow.
That's what we needed
Okay,
this
so at
whole
least we're
time.
seeing a change.
Yeah, at least in the mom.
Yeah.
One thing I guess I should have made clear is that my parents sorted out their custody and child support agreement amongst themselves when they divorced. The agreement is that I spend weekends with my dad and he pays my mom $100 per week. I'm pretty sure my dad only stuck to that agreement to keep himself looking good until he could finish his U.S. legalization process, since he used to be an immigrant from Canada. Once he was legalized, he stopped paying child support and began spoiling his new fam. Anyway, I went to my dad's house last weekend. This time, my mom didn't force me, and I actually decided I wanted to go because I wanted to give my dad one last chance. He picked me up from my mom's house. We didn't get down the street before we were fighting. I was excitedly telling him about a business idea I had where I can make book boxes and sell books with DIY necklaces and hand-painted bookmarks that match book covers, and he was telling me my idea was stupid and unprofitable and a waste of money and time.
Dude, you're a waste of money and time. Like
you're the one who's broke.
Yeah, who are you to be lecturing someone on business?
You don't know anything about business or family or dadding, parenting.
This is on topic, but like a little bit off. I'm a big fan of if you see someone's going in the right direction with an interest, be very supportive, even if it's initially bad.
Exactly.
And then be hypercritical of like the second or then be critical as they are like getting into it.
Yes.
I generally don't think it's helpful to be critical with a new art form or a new interest right out the gate.
Agreed,
because
especially
then you'll squash creativity and their motivation.
Yeah, it's like if, a little kid came up to you and showed you a drawing that they made and you're like, wow, the proportions on this is completely wrong. This is the
awful.
color. Oh, these don't mesh at all. It's like, no, you support them and then they get better.
Yeah. But there's a certain point where you offer like feedback. Because like one of my friends came with a video and he was like, oh, what do you think? I'm like, dude, this is great. Which it was like the initial framework was really good, but it wasn't like amazing. But then the second one he made was leagues better. I'm like, dude, this second one is so much better. And I said all the ways that it was better, even though it's like not perfect, but it was so much better than the first one.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of get this feedback of like, okay, like this is how things are better, how they're improving. so you're giving constructive criticism, but with like a frame of reference of what's come before rather than just saying it's bad.
Exactly. It was an hour-long drive to his house, and he was getting political or angry over every little thing I said. When I told him I was thinking about applying to colleges like Harvard or University of Chicago in the future.
Oh, Harvard. You went to Harvard, Fia, right?
Yes. He began to yell about all the dangerous Cuban and Mexican immigrants in Chicago and began saying that Harvard is a waste of time since it's just as good as any other college, but rich people go there, which is why it's so famous.
I mean,
true. I mean, a little bit true.
You don't go to Harvard for the education.
Yeah, it's like
you go to the
prestige.
Harvard for the network.
I wound up yelling at him that he can't act so high and mighty over non-white immigrants because he was also an immigrant not too long ago. Also, I never understood why my dad is always so racist about Hispanic people when my mom and his current wife are both Latinas.
He's
Who
like,
is this guy?
I can't have any more Mexicans coming in because they might steal my wife because they're so good looking. I'm very attracted to all of these Latinas.
He's like, if I see another Latina, I'm
gonna
starting
explode.
a new family.
Boss.
He went on one rant after another, and I was so sick of it that instead of staying quiet like always, I actually argued back. Because of that, my dad spent the whole weekend complaining about my bad attitude. I told my mom about all of this. I think the final nail in the coffin that finally pushed her to want sole custody was when I told her about a rant my dad went on about the difference between men and women. I wound up memorizing and writing down everything he said and texted it to my mom. I asked her not to talk to him about it, but she was so pissed at him. Here are some of the things he said. 99% of women want to latch on to rich men. Didn't you say you're broke?
Yeah, I'm part of the 1%.
Nearly all women are greedy and unloyal. Men don't like successful and independent women because they're prideful and bossy. It's more important for a wife to respect her husband than it is for him to respect her. It's wrong for wives to make more than their husbands. And so much more. This guy he's a piece of work. And then he smiled and said, but you're the exception, pretty girl.
Oh, wow.
I hate this man.
I hate everything that this guy stands
I
for.
hate him so much. There was so much more that happened just last weekend, like him saying some of my guy friends don't really count as real men since some of them are gay, and trying to tell me my summer volunteering opportunity is a bad idea since the people there are different, even though my mom's side of the family comes from there. I won't list every annoying thing he did, and I'm finally done. This was his last chance and he blew it. I just want to say I'm pretty sure my mom is not sending me over anymore. She spent all morning looking for my birth certificate because she's wondering if she needs it in court. She wants to get me full time and have my dad pay child support. At the moment, he owes a lot of child support. And having him contribute financially would help me so much with preparing for college, get into Harvard, make him pay for Harvard money.
And Harvard ain't cheap.
Although I did not mention the names of my books in the other posts, I didn't share them because I didn't want a bunch of internet strangers seeing my social media
This is
tags.
secret marketing.
Yeah, at the back of the book. But I will share the titles with anyone who DMs me. I will probably make another update if anything else happens. And there is another update.
Another update.
I hope he says, hopefully my next update will be after we've gone to court.
Oh,
There
right.
is
So
a
we're going
fourth
to see.
update.
We're going to see if
Money.
the child support comes through, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Oh, boy. All right, let's see.
Oh, boy. Oh, just launching right into it. Update.
Ooh.
Hey, everyone. It's been 3 months since my last post, and quite a lot of crappy stuff has gone down.
Oh, I still
Dang
can't
it.
catch a break.
Just let her freaking write her books
Yeah.
in peace. Let me start off by saying thank you to everyone who DM'd me and sent me their support. I know I haven't answered a lot of you, but that's just because the amount of messages is well over 50 and it's kind of overwhelming. But I appreciate all of you, especially those who have reached out and said that they're going through similar things or that they've gone through similar things.
This exact same thing where you write
Damn.
3 books and your dad doesn't support you.
I hope not.
It's a really common thing. You're all so strong and I hope you're doing all right. So as for the actual update, my mom never took Eric, bio dad, to court. What?
I thought that was the whole point.
Come
That was the whole
on.
point.
What the heck?
After 3 days of listening to my mom and Eric scream at each other over the phone, insulting each other, and hearing Eric yell about child support being stupid at a government con, he sent $200 to shut my mom up and now sends that same amount of money randomly.
That is the same as what's been happening. Nothing has been resolved.
My mom lied about not forcing me to see him again. I remembered we were in the car when Eric called on a random Friday to ask if I wanted to come over. And maybe I was a little cold, but my mom got mad at me after I said I didn't want to go. I reminded her that she promised not to force me, and I got yelled at and guilt-tripped into calling Eric back and agreeing. That weekend was awful. Eric tried to fight with me on his sexist beliefs. He complained that I was complaining too much about his inappropriate jokes and stories. And then there was a whole issue about us arguing over women's workout clothes. For some context on the last one, Eric and I saw a couple biking together in the neighborhood, and he commented that the lady was trying to get some because she was in leggings and a crop top. This guy sucks.
Get some
Salt of the
cardio.
earth kind of man.
I told him she was just working out and that the guy she was with was probably her boyfriend. Plus, she was at least 10 years younger than Eric, but he just said, that doesn't mean she's not trying to get more guys with those clothes. Women only wear workout clothes to attract men and get laid. It's definitely not to work out. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Hey, maybe he just thinks everyone's wearing workout clothes to get laid.
I guess so.
He puts on a pair of gym shorts and he's like,
Don't
ladies,
take this
I'm
man
ready.
to a gym.
Yeah.
And I argued with him. I just gave up when I said, if I wear workout clothes to exercise and lose weight to be healthier, am I trying to get a man's attention? And he said yes.
Dude, this
That was
guy has the worst set of beliefs of anyone.
Truly the worst.
But also, like, I feel like this is a surprising amount of people that have these kinds of
Yeah.
beliefs. Not in our circles, but
No, but like a lot of people do think this, and I'm like,
dude, get a grip.
get a grip. That was that. If there was any respect in me left for that man, it's now completely gone. Plus, he spent the whole weekend disrespecting his wife and insulting her. And despite how awkward I feel around her, I wish I'd known what kind of person my dad was 3 years ago, so I could have told her to leave him when she had the chance to. No woman deserves a man as awful as my dad. Yeah, why is this other woman putting up with him?
Maybe he like shows a different side of himself to her or something.
Doesn't sound like he has any good side. And I'm sure some of you noticed what I put in the title. I now feel like I no longer have any father figure at all in my life. No, the stepdad?
No.
What?
And here's why. Weeks ago, I got into a little bit of a debate with my mom about adopted kids. I told her I didn't want to give birth as an adult and would rather adopt. And she said I shouldn't bring another person's dirty kids into my home. And she said it would be hard to love grandkids that didn't look like me.
Oh my gosh. What?
Damn, both your parents suck.
Oh.
That's really tough. I know it's kind of a weird conversation for a 16-year-old to have. I recently turned 16 this summer. Congrats. But it came up anyway. When I asked for my dad's opinion, I found what is probably the real reason he doesn't want to adopt me. He told me that he doesn't think adopted kids can be loved the same way as blood kids.
Oh.
And now the stepdad sucks too. He said adopted children aren't as lovable. And I realized that despite calling me his daughter and talking about me and how much he loves me, he doesn't love me as much as his birth kids. And also, I have lost all respect for him after this past weekend. There was a lot of stuff that happened in my family, and my mom tried to blind me from all of it, so my cousins are my only source of information. I spent the weekend with my oldest cousins, 21 female, and another one of my cousins, 20 female, and I ranted to them about what my stepdad had said. After that, they told me something that made me feel more disgusted and betrayed than I've ever felt before.
I can't with this story. It just
Why
keeps
are they
getting
all awful?
so bad.
OP has no adults in her life that are, good. This really sucks. My stepdad cheated on my mom a few years back. And she stayed with him. The reason my mom divorced Eric was due to his infidelity, but she chose to forgive my stepdad and never told me about it, letting me continue to live with a man who did the same thing that Eric did to her. Eric's cheating ruined my life, and I don't think I can look at my stepdad the same way again. Damn. Before the past weekend, I was laughing with my stepdad and hanging out with him. Now I'm glad my mom is having me spend time with my grandma because it means I have more time to process all of this before I have to see him again. I'm a junior in high school now. I'm planning to work harder on online jobs, applying for scholarships, and more so that I'm ready to get away from all of this as soon as I get to college. If anything else major happens, I'll update again, but this is it for now. I know I'm not the jerk. I'm just the one who has to deal with a ton of unfair crap. Damn. But you know it's not unfair? Joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile.
I'm sad.
This was such a sad ending.
This ended terribly.
Terribly.
So what's her advice to OP? Like, it seems like everyone's deserting her. Like,
I feel like you, unfortunately, I mean...
But again, she's 16.
She's 16. She goes to online school, so it seems like you said that you do have some other friends and stuff. So... I guess, try and rely on those friends who do love you and are there for you.
Sucks, though, because it's like she really doesn't have any familial support structure.
No. Literally everyone in her life has been letting her down.
Like, I mean, maybe like aunts, uncles, anyone
maybe,
you could
yeah,
talk
if you
to.
have any extended family.
I mean, talking to the counselor could be good, too. But yeah, it's like...
Well, she can't because she's on online school.
Well, but you could do like an online session with the counselor,
I
maybe.
think, yeah, the counselor, unless you tell them that your life is in danger or you're putting someone else's life in danger, I don't think they're allowed to tell anything to your parents. Yeah, honestly, I feel like you just kind of have to rely on your friends, if you can, the counselor, and just wait until you can get to college.
God, this sucks.
Really sucks, though.
You know what doesn't suck?
This next story. I've been with him for a decade, and now he repulses me. I'm a female 32, and my now ex-male 40 have been together just over a decade and have 3 kids together. From the beginning of our relationship, he cheated on me a lot with all of my close friends and anyone connected to us.
Sounds like a great dude.
Sounds like a nice guy.
Great start.
I was stupid enough to stick around, and honestly, there wasn't any signs or behaviors that showed he was anything but faithful and loving for about 2 years now, except for the beginning part. Well, yesterday I saw something pop up on one of his devices, and I spent all night thinking about it and ended up going through his phone. And you know what I say? When you go through someone's phone, better be prepared for the relationship to be over.
Yep.
Regardless of what you find or not. By the way, this comes from Deep Understanding 32 on the r/OKstorytime subreddit, and this is one of our own.
This is an r/OKstorytime
This
fan?
is r/
Let's go.
Judge me all you want. I'm glad I did. I found out that when he goes to work, he works away. He has been meeting up with call girls and paying them for sloppy toppies or raw dogs. So roughly $200 to $500 each time.
Yo, is that expensive or is that
Well,
is
I
that
feel like that's
going
market rate.
Is that market? I don't think that's market rate.
I don't know. He could get it for free.
That's true.
He could get it for free, girl.
Market rate for sloppy toppies gotta be like it can't be $500.
I don't know.
It's gotta be like yeah. Jellybus says it depends on the area. Any sex workers in the chat know what the
market rate is?
The market rate is.
I recently found out someone that I know used to be a spicy sleep worker and would for like $15.
She's underselling.
Yeah, that's what I said. $15. This is a while back in like the 90s or early 2000s.
Damn.
Not someone we know.
No, someone I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like that's below market rate.
Yeah, definitely.
$15, that doesn't make sense.
Even with inflation.
Even with inflation.
No, this is back in the day.
I know, even with inflation.
Yeah, even in the 90s.
Yeah. I only went back a year before I stopped looking and saw he had been doing this the whole time. I think he meets them on Facebook dating. I can't be sure because I've seen that on his phone and I'm just connecting the dots. How gross is that? I'm actually repulsed. I also have seen well over 50 women on his Snapchat with daily
50?
chats. All schmexual.
Oh my God.
There were women who were having housing trouble. He was sending money to. Anything you can think of, this man was doing it.
Oh, wow. Really just helping the unhoused population. Like,
I hate him so much.
You gotta help where you can.
I'm so sorry to our OK fam.
What? You're sorry that he's putting people up in houses? He's helping people on the streets?
Yeah.
Have a more stable life?
Including hiring a girl to share around with his mates.
Ooh.
This man sucks so much.
He's just giving them free drinks?
Who I'm pretty sure have wives. Yes, we are broken up and I am sorting things out to move, but the reason I'm writing this is because I know there's some poor girl out there with a heart full of love to give, and there are men who you think will change and they will get the happy ever after. But respect yourself and your time. They are not worth the damage they will cause you in the long run. I held on to hope that never existed, and I know now that it was me seeing someone who wasn't there. Be better than me. You deserve it. Now I don't know what lies ahead for me, but I'm excited, scared, and I feel free. I will be free.
My God.
And that's the end of that story.
Oh. Emma Worm Queen's Knight says, I know a couple, they charge $300 an hour Canadian.
Damn.
Wow.
That's for two people.
Great.
So 150.
Oh, I know I know a couple. Not I know a couple.
Oh. No, they charge.
What do
Yeah.
they charge for 5
Like
seconds?
I know a couple of spicy workers.
I don't know. I think
It's not a
Like, I
parent.
know
Emma
a
Worm
couple-
Queen's Knight, clarify.
No,
you know
I
a
think
couple of spicy sleep
Yeah.
workers that charge $300, or you know a pair,
No.
like a couple, like they're like a boyfriend girlfriend that charge $300 an hour
No.
Canadian.
Wrong.
Does it have to be an hour?
Yeah, can it be in 15-minute increments?
Can it be like a minute? It takes 45 seconds to take my clothes off.
But that's where this episode ends. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And see you tomorrow.